in Africa. In January of that year, 1922, the school, which was later renamed Uganda Technical College, opened its doors to 14-day students who began studying carpentry, building, and mechanics. And it's 100 years today. There is His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda, and also one of the former chancellors of the university, clad in the attire on arrival to celebrate their 100 years. We thank you so much for watching, and we shall have you. I also see the Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, the Chancellor, Professor Ezra Suruma, and other dignitaries, plus the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who are part of the celebrations. It's going to be a big event here at Makerere, and UBC TV should be your home today. You'll have the whole event live on your TV. We are a big team here to give you whatever will happen as Makerere marks her 100 years. Yes, like I was saying, Makerere was started as a technical institute, and it grew into the ranks to now the biggest university in the country. Today we have over 20 of them, actually over 30 of them, but Makerere still remains at the top, at the epitome of higher education in the country. With the arrival of the president, we're going to have the anthems, prayer, and the event will officially begin. We thank you so much for tuning in, and let's see how the event begins. Keep tuned to UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
Mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future. The great Makerere, great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty, the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty, the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee. Do not forget through all the years those who have gone through the gates of Makerere. Give them the pride, give them the joy, oh, to remember the gates of Makerere. Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future, the great Makerere. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee. Those who hear peace, seek ye the truth. Build for the future the great Makerere. Those ye have been, those ye will be. Build for the future the great Makerere. Makerere, Makerere, we build for the future the great Makerere. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee. Great, great and mighty the walls around thee. Great, great and mighty the gates beside thee.
Your Excellency and all distinguished guests, let's not tire from standing. I wish to request that we remain upstand for a prayer led by Reverend Onesimus Asimwe, the chaplain, St. Francis Chapel.
Your Excellency, I'm standing together with the chaplain of St. Augustine and the Imam of the university. And as we prepare to pray, allow me to request that we thank God and also congratulate ourselves that we are the chosen centenary celebrants of Makerere University as we celebrate 100 years. The incumbent Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, the Imam, and the chaplains who will witness the celebration of the next 100 years are not yet born. And so, in that spirit of gratitude, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we lift our hearts in gratitude for the 100 years of excellent service that Makerere University has offered to humanity. We thank you for the President of the Republic of Uganda and visitor of Makerere University, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Tibuhaburwa, and for the key distinguished dignitaries who have graced this occasion with their physical presence. We thank you, Lord, for the Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, for the Prime Minister Emeritus, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, for the Ministers, President, and MPs. We thank you for the Most Reverend Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugaru, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, and the other religious leaders, for all those elected and appointed leaders, the academia. We say thank you that you have allowed us to witness this great occasion. Almighty God, this is a time to remember the ways you have shown your loving kindness over the last 100 years. We thank you that Makerere University is the alma mater of a number of post-independence African leaders and political elites, including Dr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, and the other presidents, Milton Obote, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, Benjamin Mkapa, Mwai Kibaki, Joseph Kabila, there could be others, and the hundreds of thousands of alumni who are of a great influence among the nations. Lord God, we thank you for the men and women who laid the foundation of this institution in 1922 and whose indelible legacy continues to shine brightly. We are thankful for the current leadership, the University Council, the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, the DVCs, and the entire management team, the Senate, the faculty, the non-teaching staff, and the students alike. And we pray for them that under your guidance, they will take Makerere University from glory to glory. As it is written in 1 Corinthians 3:10, according to the grace of God given to men, like a skilled master builder, I laid the foundation, and someone else is building upon it. Let each one take care, therefore, how he builds upon it. We thank you, O God, that the history of Makerere University is good, and her present is even better. And now we stand at the gate of time, at this Kairos moment of Mark at 100, when we celebrate double jubilee, and also the gate of Uganda turning 60 years of independence, to honor the past and honor the present, but also declare that the best is yet to come in the name of Jesus. We decree Haggai 2:9 into establishment that the glory of the latter house, Makerere University, shall be greater than the glory of the former one. In research, innovation, relevance to the community, in culture, where strikes, violence, sexual harassment, and impunity will be eclipsed by discipline and integrity. May we see a magnificent, iconic main building come up, and may the latter glory be seen in every arena of life in Makerere University and our nation, Uganda. And so, King of Glory, as we celebrate this important day in history, we ask for the canopy of your presence over this hill. We also ask you, Lord, to release upon us an atmosphere of thanksgiving and celebration to the greater glory and honor of your name. And to God, our Savior, who alone is wise, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. And all God's people said, amen.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the ever merciful, we humble ourselves before you. We bow our heads with humility towards you, seeking your mercy and forgiveness. We are grateful to you for all the favors you bestow on us, day and night, time and again. We thank you, O God, for the University Council, the management, the faculty, and non-teaching staff, past and present, whose legacy continues to shine brightly under their guidance. We are thankful for His Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for gracing this occasion with his physical presence at Makerere University, as Makerere University celebrates 100 years of excellent service. Almighty God, we stand at the gate of this celebration time to proclaim that the glory of Makerere University in the next 100 years shall be greater than the glory of the former one. Help us to let go of the past and build foundations for a new future which begins now. teach us how to leverage the 100 years of excellence in building a transformed society. Sovereign God, we ask you to show the leaders of our nation and the leaders of this institution what is right and enable them to follow it, and show them what is wrong and assist them to avoid it. Assist them to make correct decisions for the good of our nation and our institution. Our God, the God of all hope, bless this occasion, bless this day and days to come, bless this institution and bless our nation. Grant us good in this world and hereafter. O Allah, accept our prayers. Amen.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, you may wish to take your seats. Your Excellency, as you join the rest of the incredible humanity in celebrating 100 years of Makerere, and like you heard the Reverend Onesimus say, and he was very specific in mentioning those he mentioned who are the Vice Chancellor and a few others for the next 100 years. He said they are not yet born. But he was deliberate not to mention about you, Your Excellency, because I think he has a feeling you will be alive and still the president at the next 100 years celebration. I think he also did not mention about the Master of Ceremony, aware that by then technology would be such that wherever I would be, I will in fact be the Master of Ceremony at the next 100 years. That said, by way of introduction, Your Excellency, my name is Simon Kasiati. This is what I do for a living. I talk. And I started talking not at Makerere University, but at home like many of you. I only came to polish it up when I came to this university, like all of you. Your Excellency, before you is a distinguished group of dignitaries who we shall be introducing, but allow me in a special way, relating with your own personal legacy, introduce one person to you in a special way. When you took power in January 1986 as the President of the Republic, this university had a president. I think in his wisdom at that time he thought the two of you were too big to fit in one country. So upon you becoming the President of the Republic, he left this country and abdicated his throne as President of Makerere University. But today, as we celebrate 100 years, His Excellency George Okurapa is with us in the house. George, please stand up. He flew in yesterday from his hideout in Toronto, Canada, fully assured of his security of tenure and your great friendships, Your Excellency. So he's here to join us. You may sit, George. George has been in exile for 36 years. So these 100-year celebrations may change the course of history. I have a feeling he got a one-way ticket back to Uganda. One-way ticket back to Uganda. He's not returning. Your Excellency, we have a very short program, but part of the celebration is for some people among us to tell you what life was like for them at Makerere University. So with your indulgence, you will allow me to invite some 4 people who will together use 4 minutes to share their Makerere University story with us. Each one of you takes a minute. And in no particular order, but the way we introduce them, you recognize we are going in ascending order of age. It may not look on how they look, but that's how life has treated them. So the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Tayewa, Right Honorable Tayewa, please come forward. As you make your way here, Nora Rule, in your big capacity, you also happen to be the daughter of the first principal of this university, who was also a former head of state. You also step forward. I would invite others after Right Honorable Tayewa makes his remarks.
Your Excellency, the President, the Chancellor, and invited guests, I came to Makerere in 2001 my confession about Makerere is that Makerere brought me to Kampala, because that was my first time to step in Kampala. I grew up in my village in Mitoma. If we had a university, there was no reason for my parents to bring me here. I studied from primary 1 up to senior 4, and that's all we had in Mitoma. And then I was taken to Bushenyi after I came to Kampala. Now, in 2001, Your Excellency, when I was coming, I had my metallic case and my 450,000 school fees, which we kept in 3 layers of shorts, because you had to keep it very safely. When I reached in the bus park, I got confused because I saw very many motor vehicles, because in Viterco we had only 1 car at that time. So what I decided to do, because it was late in the evening, I said these people might take my fees. I was told Kampala is very sharp. I went in the bus park, but we used to hear stories that in Kampala, when you get confused, you got a police post. So I went police, I reported myself that I'm lost. They kept me until morning, when they gave me a policeman to escort me to Makerere, and I pay my school fees. I want to thank you, Your Excellency, because if you had not looked after Makerere and taken on Makerere, I wouldn't be in Kampala, and I would never have met you. I would be in Viterco, because at that time, most of my OBs and OGs, I can tell you, I don't want to go into that story. It's a deep one. I'm happy I'm here, and I'm one of the testimonies of this government that you have created opportunities for people who you had never heard of, who had no relative in government, who had no any contact in government, and you have given them opportunity to serve in positions of high responsibility in this country, Your Excellency. I want to thank you for that, and forever and ever, I'll be grateful to Makerere, Your Excellency, and the NRM government. I thank you.
Your Excellency, foreign dignitaries, guests, students, academics, all protocol observed. I'm not here to make a very complicated speech. Mine is from a personal note. 5 decades ago, please don't calculate my age, I lived on Makerere Hill when it was less developed, at the residence which is up on the road, on the little road called the Edge. And my father's office was in the main building. Obviously I was very young, wasn't very clear on what my environment was, but even at that age I looked up to the possibility of being a student at Makerere. Of course my trajectory in life changed. I didn't manage to get my education here, although I wanted to. But my contribution, I suppose, to education was occasionally I used to turn up at his office and book myself an appointment. Of course, I was this high, and I say, I need to have an appointment. And my appointment just consisted of saying, "Hi, Dad," give him a hug, and go away. 5 decades later, I'm back home. The university has totally changed, but in my years away, what I was very proud of is I would encounter other Africans that would say, whenever they heard I was from Uganda, they'd say, "Oh, I went to Makerere and I've heard about your university." So actually our university has a reputation beyond our borders, which makes me feel very proud. Another thing that makes me feel very proud is that when it started, it was rather like a very small community here. There weren't very many students and there weren't that many courses. But obviously, over 5 decades, the university has evolved, and it's increased all its projects, and it's noted internationally for its research, and there's a lot more going on in the university. I'm honored to have this opportunity to speak to everybody today, and thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Nora, and thank you, Right Honorable Tayewa. I am inviting 2 other gentlemen, Kelvin Musana, who lived at Makerere University as well and is now an executive director at Standard Chartered Bank. I also have the pleasure to invite Don Wanyama, the managing director at the Vision Group. And as they make their way here to share their Makerere story, here is a little housekeeping rule. The pandemic of COVID is not away from us. A humble request that we all wear our masks wherever you are. The exception for that rule is myself, the Master of Ceremony, for articulation and good looks. The other exception is His Excellency the President. I know it's a disease, but it also has respect for elders, so you may wish to stay without a mask. Gentlemen.
Your Excellency the President, the Chancellor, and other dignitaries who are here, may I simply say all protocols observed. I come here representing the board, management, and staff of Standard Chartered Bank. I am not a student. However, I have been associated through the teams you work with, and even in my own country, through people who have come through Makerere University and have told us very many great stories about this wonderful university. So on behalf of the board, I just come to say congratulations for 100 years. Congratulations for all the hundreds of thousands of students, graduates who passed through this university. Thank you very much for nurturing them. A large number of them in our organization are from this university. As Standard Chartered Bank, we as well just celebrated about 110 years in Uganda, and we totally appreciate the tenacity, we appreciate the foresightedness and the sacrifice which goes into attaining such a milestone. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Your Excellency the President, all guests present, protocol observed. It's a pleasure to be here today. Your Excellency, I came to Makerere University in 2003, and like my brother, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, it offered me my first occasion to make my long journey from upcountry to Kampala. I think if I had not been admitted here, I would also have stayed in Mbale for the rest of my life. I was a resident of Mitchell Hall, and Your Excellency, for us, we call ourselves the gallant rats. So a gallant rats, oye, a Mitchell, oye, not Z. Your Excellency, however, speaking on behalf of the Vision Group, I want to express our greatest pleasure being here today on this significant occasion as Makerere University celebrates 100 years of existence. The Vision Group, as the biggest and most professional media house in Uganda, takes great pride in partnering and associating with Uganda's premier and leading education institution on this momentous occasion. As a media house, Your Excellency, we committed over 300 million shillings in support towards these celebrations, including printing the beautiful informative magazine whose copy I'm sure every guest has gotten this morning. I want to state that we shall do even more together with Makerere University as we begin the journey of the next 100 years and as we build for the future. Again, congratulations, Makerere University. A Makerere oye, a rats oye. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. I believe that these 4 incredible people deserve a bigger round of applause. Your Excellency, when you took over as president in 1986, it would have been very hard-pressed to look in the ranks of the army then and find if there was an alumni of Makerere University. But many years down the road since you became president, Your Excellency, together with the incredible men with whom you marched to power, we have thousands of Uganda People's Defense Forces, high and low in rank, who have graduated from Makerere University over the years. The message from them, Your Excellency, is to tell you as their Commander-in-Chief that NRM created an enabling environment to have an army that's educated, professional, pro-people, and with these 100 years of celebration, they are happy to be here in their 100 number to join you, and I wish that they stand up and wave and salute you. If you count them, there are 100 of them to mark 100 years of Makerere University. Your Excellency, as Don Wanyama was arriving at Makerere University and by extension into Kampala, I was exiting this university for the first time from my undergraduate degree. I had been enrolled here to pursue a degree in veterinary medicine. But considering that I love my meat and it is not professional for someone to eat their patients, I chose not to study veterinary medicine and instead did another incredible science called social sciences. I am here. I've since been back here to study 2 other degrees, so I have 3 degrees from Makerere University, and I have now stopped reading. I wouldn't even read a number plate of a car, because I think I've read enough from Makerere University. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, having heard testimonies of those who've been here, I wish to invite our host, the incredible Vice Chancellor of this university, who is none other than Professor Barnabas Nawangwe. From the way he's dressed and the masking protocols and everything, you may not be able to recognize the man from the one you always know, but the one who is coming here, I can testify, is actually Professor Barnabas Nawangwe. That's him. Please welcome us, sir.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and visitor of Makerere University, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Secretary General of the NRM Party, Honorable Ministers present, and we wish to recognize the 3 ministers from sister countries who have honored, and they will be introduced later. Members of the Judicature, the Chancellor of Makerere University, Honorable Members of Parliament, the Chairperson of Council, Mrs. Magara, and your spouse, Dr. Magara, members of the University Council, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, religious leaders, Vice Chancellors of partner universities, former Chancellors, Vice Chancellors, and Chairpersons of Council of Makerere University, the DVCs who are standing with me, and members of the university management, members of Senate and staff, CEOs of partner companies and heads of government agencies, alumni and alumni chapter leaders, the students community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and not forgetting my beloved wife, Susan, who is here. I welcome you to this main event, the climax of our year-long celebration of Makerere University's excellent service to Uganda and to humanity. In a special way, I welcome His Excellency, the President and Vice of Makerere University, and the honorable ministers present.
Thank you for honoring our invitation to officiate at this historic event. The celebrations were launched by you, Your Excellency, during the independence celebrations last year at Kololo. Your Excellency, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, the story of Makerere can best be described as one of thriving amidst adversity. Indeed, nobody would have ever thought that what began as a small technical school with 14 barefoot students in grass-thatched huts would evolve into one of the leading universities in the world. Established in 1922, a year when the Crown Lands Declaration Ordinance came into force, the colonial government had to strike a delicate balance between enacting major land legislation and staying within the blueprint developed in the 1900 Agreement. The 1900 Agreement resulted in the distribution of land in Uganda between some of the previous occupants of the land, the Kavaka, the three main religio-political factions of the day, i.e. the Anglican Church, the Catholic Church, and the Muslim faith, and select collaborators who facilitated the process of colonial rule in the protectorate. Although the colonial government had managed to secure the initial piece of land in 1922, it became increasingly clear as plans to transform Makerere into a center for higher education in East Africa gained momentum that more land would be needed to expand what had by now become a college. The requests for land to expand Makerere were quickly opposed, starting from as early as 1938. This was the status quo until 1945, when Owekitiibwa Martin Luther Nsibirwa returned to serve as Katikkiro for a second term of the Uganda Kingdom. After heated debate in the Lukiko, he eventually carried the day, and on 4th September 1945, he signed a law authorizing Makerere's acquisition of land. And unfortunately, he was assassinated the next day, on 5th September 1945, on the steps of Namirembe Cathedral. Your Excellency, Makerere owes its present-day existence to the selfless acts of men like Owekitiibwa Martin Luther Nsibirwa, who, despite grave danger, made decisions that transcended immediate needs of their time. We were therefore privileged to hold a public lecture in his honor as part of our celebrations of 100 years of Makerere University, where his daughter, Honorable Rhoda Kalema, paid a moving tribute to her father. Many other people sacrificed their lives so that Makerere University might thrive, including Frank Kalimozo, the first Vice Chancellor of Makerere as an independent national university, who was murdered in 1972, and Teresa Nanziri, a former warden of Africa Hall, who was murdered in 1976 during the Reign of Terror in Uganda. Nevertheless, despite all this martyrdom, Makerere University soldiered on, warding off the Vataka riots of the 1940s that threatened the expansion of higher education in Uganda, the huge exodus of professors during Amin's reign of terror, when Makerere lost more than half of her faculty, and the financial squeeze occasioned by the World Bank's structural adjustment programs. Makerere rose up from each of these difficult periods to become an even better university. Indeed, Makerere has been part and parcel of Uganda's and East Africa's modern history, contributing the bulk of the clerks that the colonial government needed to consolidate its hold on the region. The fighters for independence, including Presidents Nyerere, Kibaki, Obote, Sir Edward Mutesa, Benjamin Mkapa, and the others, as well as the bulk of the post-independence political leadership and civil service of our region. Makerere's excellence dates back to its early years, Perhaps the best illustration of the excellence was made by W.D. Foster, who in his book, Makerere Medical School, 50th Anniversary, says, and I quote, "It is among the best medical schools in the world. The facilities, the patients, and the research opportunities were almost unrivaled." That spirit of excellence has never left Makerere. Instead, it has spread to all the other colleges and schools. The allocation by government of 30 billion Uganda shillings annually for research has transformed Makerere tremendously. Even if this is not enough to support the 1,000 researchers we have at Makerere, it is a good beginning, and the country will surely reap dividends very soon. This Research and Innovation Fund, coupled with the major improvements in our research infrastructure that government has recently funded, is enabling us to conduct research at the highest international standards and to find solutions to the challenges that our country faces. We have allocated part of this funding to train the next generation of researchers at PhD level for Uganda. But a dedicated fund or dedicated loan scheme to support graduate training would make a huge difference for our country. Your Excellency, our celebration of 100 years, where we reflect on all these sacrifices and triumphs, would not have been possible without the support the government of Uganda and our partners give us. The support from the NRM government in terms of allocation of resources, collaborative engagements, and motions on the floor of Parliament has been unequivocal and steadfast. Your personal words of encouragement and the challenge you have continually given us to be the change agent that will eliminate Africa's marginalization have given us the required drive to always aim higher. We sincerely appreciate Your Excellency for your visionary leadership, and also the First Lady and the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports for her counsel that has encouraged and motivated us on this journey of ensuring impactful service to our country and to humanity. On 20th September, we were privileged and honored to be hosted at Parliament as the House passed a motion to collectively and unanimously honor Makerere for its contribution to the economic and social development and transformation of Uganda. We are eternally indebted to the Parliament of Uganda for that recognition, and we are proud that our own, the Deputy Speaker, was chairing that session. Your Excellency, we thank you for your directive to the Ministry of Finance to provide funds to complete the construction of a perimeter wall along the university. I am delighted to inform you that the funds were provided, and the National Enterprise Corporation is constructing the wall. Finally, the Makerere anthem that mentions the walls around me or beside me will have its full meaning, because we have been saying the walls beside me, but there was no wall. Thank you very much for that, Your Excellency. The construction of our iconic main administration building has also commenced following the release of all the required money as approved by Cabinet, chaired by you, Your Excellency. We also hope that the Ministry of Finance will fund the renovation of the students' halls of residence and the College of Medicine as you have directed. It would not be fair to end my remarks without recognizing the enormous support Makerere University has enjoyed from her local and international partners, including the parents, our development partners, partner universities and agencies, some of whom are represented here today. These partnerships have enabled Makerere to be one of the most international universities globally, currently hosting students from more than 60 countries and from all the 5 continents. I pay tribute to the founders of this great institution and to all the original 13 districts of Uganda. Those of you who remember them, I think it was West Uganda, East Uganda, Ankole, Acholi, Lango, and my own Vukedi, okay? And all the others, the 13 of them, each one of them contributed money to the construction of Makerere University. I pay tribute to our chancellors, chairpersons of councils, former vice-chancellors, and many of them are represented here. I'm sure that my chair of council will be recognizing them especially. Okay. The more than 400,000 living alumni spread all over the world, and staff and students of this great institution for their enormous contribution. We look back at the achievements of the first 100 years, and we can confidently look to the next century and say, if they did it, we can do more. Our solemn promise to the government and people of Uganda is that we are committed to the NRM government vision of transforming Uganda from a peasant society to an industrial and prosperous nation through our quality training, research, and innovation. We are no longer an ivory tower, but a university that is embedded in the community, working for and with the people. Your Excellency, when I was inaugurated as Vice Chancellor of Makerere University on 14th September 2017, in your presence, I made a solemn promise to unlock the potential of Makerere University. On 12th August 2022, I was reappointed for my second 5-year term by the Chancellor on recommendation of the University Council. And I want to thank you for your endorsement of that decision, Your Excellency. I once again wish to pledge total commitment to Makerere and to ensuring that our institution remains firmly on the path of nurturing graduates and producing research and innovations that are responsive to national development priorities. I thank you, Your Excellency, and our beloved Minister of Education, as well as the Chancellor and Chairperson and members of the University Council for the enormous support in the efforts to place Makerere on the path of a modern 21st century research-intensive university. It is now my singular honor to invite the Vice Chairperson of Council, Right Honorable Daniel Kidega, who is also the Chairperson of the Mark at 100 Organizing Committee, to make his remarks as we build for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Vice Chancellor of this great university. Your Excellency, General Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the visitor to this great African university. The Right Honorable Thomas Tayeba, the Deputy Speaker of the National Parliament of Uganda, the Right Honorable Secretary General of the NRM Party, Honorable Richard Todong, the former Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Rukana Rugunda, the Minister of Education of this country, and the visiting ministers from our neighboring countries, ministers from this government of Uganda, members of parliament who are present here, members of the diplomatic corps, religious leaders led by His Grace the Archbishop, who is here, thank you for coming, the Chancellor of this great university, and the visiting chancellors and former chancellors of this university, my leader, the chairperson of the University Council, Madam Lona Magaranio's husband, members of the University Council, former members of the university councils with their leadership, the top management of this great university, led by Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, the great student leaders, current and past, our gallant students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, my work has been made very simple as the chair of the organizing committee of this celebration by our able VC. Allow me, on behalf of the organizing committee, one, to extend our deepest appreciation to you for the strategic guidance you've continued to give to this university and the nation at large. Two, to salute your patriotic office that has greatly contributed finances to this organization that has brought us this far. I further, Mr. President, would like to thank you for committing yourself amid this busy schedule to come and celebrate with the Makerere, this major celebration. We don't take it for granted. Thank you, sir. Our Minister of Education here represented, our partners, both from the public and the private sector organization. The organizing committee would like to say thank you to you for the great contribution you have made to us to make this celebration a success. In a very special way, I'd like to extend our appreciation to the leadership of this university, chairperson of council and members of council, for affording us as a committee an opportunity to put to shape this celebration. We are greatly honored. We apologize if there are any spots where we have not met your expectation. We promise to do better next time you assign us. We'd like to extend also our deepest appreciation to the management of the university, led by the Vice Chancellor, for the great technical support you've extended to the committee that has brought us this far. In a very special way, we thank the academic and administrative staff and the students of this gallant university that has made this celebration a success. May God bless you all. Your Excellency, the celebration of this 100 years, as the VC has already stated, started last year, and it is now 1 year since we have been celebrating. The following are the few highlights of activities that the organizing committee put in place. We have had several public lectures to celebrate our distinguished alumni and our outstanding leaders in Uganda and beyond. Thank you to the different colleges that has made this possible. May God reward you. Two, Your Excellency, we have taken this celebration way beyond this country. We have visited our partner states of the East African community because that's what this university serves. We have been to Nairobi in Kenya. We engaged with the alumni work, offering services to that nation. We have been to Kigali, Rwanda, and met thousands of our alumni who are making great contribution to humanity. We have been to Dar es Salaam, United Republic of Dar es Salaam, at our sister institution, the University of Dar es Salaam. Your Excellency, the University of Dar es Salaam extends its greatest greetings and appreciation to you as the alumni for the good work you're doing in this country, in East Africa, and Africa at large. We have hosted Twitter Space Engagement, hosted by our prominent alumni to engage the entire network of this great university online. We have had, as mentioned by the Chancellor, a special sitting of Parliament to pay tribute to Makerere at 100 years. Special appreciation to the leadership of Parliament, but more specifically to Right Honorable Thomas Tayeba, the Deputy Speaker. We are indebted to you. May God bless you abundantly. Your Excellency, this day will not mark the end of our celebrations. We still have a number of activities lined up to celebrate 100 years of the university. We will be having, on the 13th and 14th of October, the Nyerere Annual Public Lecture, but this time it will be a special lecture. It will be a leadership symposium. And Your Excellency, they have extended invitation to you because this is your brainchild, to engage the young East Africans and imbibe in them your deep African ideology in leadership. We intend to visit the 13 original districts of Uganda who paid or gave money to the building of this university. We will also have an exhibition in November to showcase to the entire world what this university is doing. Your Excellency, these activities, we hope it will help us to take the university to the community, to the owners, such that through research and innovation, we can contribute better to humanity. With those many words, Your Excellency, allow me to invite my colleague, the members of the organizing committee, to rise up and just wave to His Excellency the President. I beg. May I, in the same vein, invite the gallant secretariat that has put this together under the leadership of Comrade Awel to rise up and say thank you to His Excellency the President, wherever you are. These young men, Your Excellency, put this celebration in proper shape. On a voluntary basis, we are committed and so to them. With those few words, I thank you. May God bless you for God and my country.
Thank you, Right Honorable Danfred Kidega, for those incredible words. And in the same latitude, I also wish to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, for those incredible words and taking us down memory lane to remind us of the journey of 100 years that this university celebrates today. Your Excellency, Professor Nawangwe did welcome us as the sitting landlord of where we are, but I'm also happy to inform you that Makerere University is a tenant in a bigger polity, and their bigger landlady is with us. May I have the pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, where Makerere University is. Thanks for coming, Madam Dorothy Kisaka, and joining us for 100-year celebrations of Makerere. So that these beautiful words these incredible men have mentioned sink into our hearts and souls as we meditate over 100 years, I wish to invite a student of Makerere now. Because you know what you've been seeing, Your Excellency, are old students, majority of them male, and yet this is an equal opportunities university that has educated both male and female, young and old. So Zerida Achen, you are a current university student. Come and for 1 minute, speak to us and let His Excellency the President hear for himself firsthand how a current Makerere University student sounds like.
Your Excellency, the President of Uganda, all protocol observed, my name is Achen Zerida. I'm a student of Makerere University from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. I'm a third-year student and currently residing in Complex Hall. Makerere University has given me the opportunity to become a significant sports lady. During my stay at Makerere University, I have had the opportunity to take part in the East African University Games, and this has enabled me to improve my social network with other East African universities. Your Excellency, the President of Uganda, thank you for being a champion of the East African community, integration and federation. Long live Makerere University. Thank you all for listening to me.
So, Your Excellency, you've not only heard how she sounds like, but you have also seen what a current Makerere University looks like. And more so from my School of Social Sciences. Now let me also give you an idea of what an old student really sounds like. So here's my good old friend, Professor Mondo Kagonyera. For 1 minute, please come and also share with us, for 1 minute, your story of Makerere University. You have been a chancellor at this great university. You have been a cabinet minister. You also did a course I feared to do. Let the president hear from you.
Your Excellency, the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and a visitor to Makerere University, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Chancellor of Makerere University, ministers, Your Grace, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, former Prime Minister, members of Parliament, Makerere University Council, Senate, invited guests. Your Excellency, I must apologize. I was, what's the right word? Ambushed. But Your Excellency, there couldn't be a better opportunity in my life than being able to join you in celebrating Makerere's 100 years of existence. And why? You know very well, Your Excellency, that in spite of the difficulties that Makerere University has had, Makerere University has continued constantly to distinguish herself as one of the best universities in Africa. And in fact, there was a time, Your Excellency, when only, I believe, the University of Cape Town was better than Makerere, in spite of the inadequate funding that Makerere has had. Therefore, sir, I want to thank you and your government for having appreciated the value of research at Makerere and made a constant provision for research at this institution. Secondly, Your Excellency, I think I would be unfair not to single out one college at Makerere that has, in the many years of existence, distinguished herself, and that is the medical school at Mulago. And why do I say this, Your Excellency? The first time in the whole world that human cancer was associated with an infectious agent was done at Mulago, in the whole world. When Burkitt's lymphoma was established to be associated with a virus. Number two, sir, there is a group of natural substances called prostaglandins. And the first time it was established that these could be used in the management of obstetrical cases was again established at Mulago in the whole world. And Your Excellency, there are so many other examples we could quote. But this is not to say that other faculties, like the Faculty of Agriculture, were asleep. They were also making a lot of contributions to the development of our country and the region. Your Excellency, as you may know, there are only two former chancellors of Makerere who are still alive, and that is yourself and I. And therefore, allow me, Your Excellency, to pay tribute to past chancellors of Makerere University, particularly the my immediate predecessor, the late Professor Apollo Nsibambi, who was the first non-head of state chancellor of Makerere University. And to thank your government through you for having recognized that it was no longer tenable for the head of state to continue to be chancellors of government universities, but that universities could have non-heads of state as their chancellors. And Professor Nsibambi was the first known head of state chancellor of Makerere University. I want to congratulate Makerere for having participated in the building of our region. As you have been told, the former president of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki, was the first person to get a first-class degree at Makerere University, and he distinguished himself as a servant of the Republic of Kenya. The late Benjamin Mkapa was a graduate of Makerere, so was Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. Therefore, this university has continued to contribute tremendously to producing leadership. I don't know how many of our members of parliament, what percentage are graduates of Makerere. 80%? 90%. Your Excellency, allow me also to make a few remarks about my tenure at Makerere. I have been associated with Makerere since 1971. And in one way or another, I have put in 30 years of my life in the service of Makerere University. And that's why I speak with emotion about this institution. You have been told of the difficult times we went through during Idi Amin's reign. I want to congratulate those of us who braved the hostile climate and remained at Makerere University. For that matter, I would like to request those who remained at the fort to stand up during Amin's days, and for your Excellency to work. You can see, Your Excellency, how few of them are. These are brave men and women who could have gone to any part of the world to get gainful employment, but decided to remain at Makerere and keep the fire burning. So I congratulate you before His Excellency the President. Sir, if I may also blow my trumpet, while I was Chancellor of Makerere University, I was able to introduce the MasterCard program to this university. And more than 1,000 needy students have been able to benefit from the scholarships provided by the MasterCard program at this university. Number two, Professor Nawangu should have told you that we visited you at State House and we brought to you the problem of the Faculty of Technology. And perhaps you may not remember, but with your own stroke of the pen, the Faculty of Technology could get the wonderful building in which they are housed today. Finally, sir, I want to thank you very, very much for promoting the teaching of science. We all know that everybody contributes to the development of a country. But for some reason or another, science has always not attracted the number of students we ought to have. And therefore, by deliberately making sure that science is promoted in our education institutions, should be supported by everybody. And personally, sir, I want to declare publicly to you that the people who are opposed to the pipeline to evacuate our oil from the oil fields to the coast have totally got it wrong. Some of us have even studied public health. We know there will be problems, but these can be surmounted. And therefore, I want to assure you, sir, Under this community, it is right and proper for this oil pipeline to be constructed to evacuate our oil to the coast. Those who think they are very concerned about human rights in Uganda ought to have interested themselves to what is happening in Karamoja and not on what is perceived falsely to be happening. I know Mr. Kasate is anxious to get me to leave, but I have had this opportunity. Your Excellency, yes, I want to congratulate Makerere University once again and to wish them the best of luck in the next 100 years. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency and distinguished guests, they say learning never stops. And so today, as we celebrate 100 years, I have learned one major lesson. I will never, in my career as a master of ceremony, ambush and ask anyone called a politician and the former vice chancellor to speak, hoping that they were going to speak for 1 minute. So you'll forgive me, Your Excellency, but some lessons have to be learned the hard way. And what a better day to learn a lesson like on 100th year celebration of Makerere University. So Professor Nawango, I hope that by the end of today I will get another degree for learning a very hard lesson. Edwin Birungi is a young man, Your Excellency, and as part of the celebration, we put through a competition in creative art for someone that can best depict a 100-year celebration through the science of poetry. Please mark my words very carefully. The science of poetry. So Edwin did win this, and he has promised me that his poem is going to be scientific, precise, concise, and straight to the point. Edwin.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for the tremendous work you have done in our nation, and particularly to the great institution that we celebrate today. Congratulations, Makerere University, upon your 100th year since inception in 1922. When you look at the coat of arms of our nation, we have a crested crane. Likewise, the one we have at the Makerere, could I say arms? Yes, arms, because they are arms of intelligence working in a nation. I hereby present to you the Mark at 100 poem, which will feature series of enormous works, innovations, and art that has gone through the soil of this great institution that we celebrate today. The great institution so trending that leaves no doubt pending about an icon of education among so many nations. We build for the future by ending ignorance's rupture and instilling an elite culture among so many captured by the love of enlightenment. We build for the future, for building knowledge is our nature. With our gallant tutors, in the depths of wisdom we maneuver. A soil of leaders, a mother of nations, a spear of transformation through innovations, with formation of enormous invasions by the brilliant brains in our nation. Machinations beyond your imaginations that compromise your observation before interpretation. Through these gates, we remember the glorious dates. At the youthful dreams we gaze, as a new century unfolds, a futuristic university that builds fruitful diversity through tenacity, through intensive research and innovation to create a socio-economic transformed society. Hail ye all, young and old, to sing the praise of her that builds our nation. We build for the future. Happy, happy birthday, Makerere University. We celebrate you for these 100 years. Thank you all. Thank you for attending this great function. My name is Edwin Birungi. I'm a student of music at the Department of Performing Arts. Thank you all for listening.
So you have heard. Your Excellency, as we celebrate 100 years at Makerere University, this celebration, for it to be the befitting celebration it is, has attracted different support from various circles and individuals. These came in from both the private and public sectors, and we pay special tribute to all of them for their incredible contribution. But without going through the rigors of inviting all of them, allow me to take the pleasure to invite an incredible lady at this university who is serving it in this capacity of chairperson of the University Council to come forward and make her remarks. Mrs. Lorna Magara, it's my singular pleasure to invite you to speak to all of us as we celebrate 100 years.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and visitor to Makerere University, the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Prime Minister Emeritus, Honourable Ruhakana Rugunda, the Secretary General of the NRM, Right Honourable Richard Todong, Cabinet Ministers present, the foreign visiting ministers from our partner states of the East African community, delegates visiting from various sister universities, the honorable ministers, honorable members of parliament, members of the judicature, members of the University Council, former members of the University Councils, the Vice Chancellor and members of the University Management and staff, former Vice Chancellors present, the Vice Chancellors of the sister universities, we have various of them here today, partner CEOs and the alumni chapter leaders, our special distinguished guest, Mr. George Okurapa, Guild President 1985 to 1986, Your Grace, the Archbishop of Church of Uganda, and the various religious leaders present, the Executive Director, KCCA, our host in this city, the student community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege to welcome you, Your Excellency, the President and visitor, to this, our grand celebration of Makerere University's 100 years of existence. Thank you, Your Excellency, and the NRM administration for securing an enabling environment and advancing higher education in Uganda. The NRM policies over the years have promoted access to higher education amongst Ugandan men and women and several previously marginalized communities. Having started as a technical institute in 1922 with 14 female students, by 1990, there were 6,861 students. In 1991, the government approved a private sponsorship policy that saw a dramatic increase in student enrollment. Within 10 years, that is in 2000, the student numbers rose to 18,023 students, a staggering 260% increase in student enrollment. Today, the university has close to 35,000 students. That, we thank you for that policy that has opened up higher education to many more students. Your Excellency, there is still a lot more work to ensure all qualifying Ugandans access quality higher education and training. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics data shows that our population continues to increase rapidly, above 3% annually. This growth rate does not match the increase in student completion and graduation rates. Therefore, universities must produce more professionals to deliver public goods and services for the increasing population and to design solutions for emerging contemporary challenges. I express my deepest gratitude to Mama Janet Museveni for granting me and others the opportunity to serve on the Makerere Council for the last 4 years. I also thank my colleagues on the Council who entrusted me with the role of the chairperson, the first female chairperson in 100 years. Thank you. Following our Council's inauguration in 2018, we prioritized development of a new university strategic framework in line with the third National Development Plan. This strategic framework repositions Makerere as a research-intensive university whose research and training outputs focus on delivering homegrown solutions for Uganda's development aspirations. In this note, Your Excellency, we express our deepest gratitude for the Research and Innovation Fund that provides Makerere with 30 billion shillings every year towards research and innovation. This is a critical and driving process that will see Makerere come into the community and prioritize the changes and prioritize national development through meeting societal needs. We thank you, Your Excellency. As we begin the journey into the next century, the Council and management, as I've stated, have embarked on transitioning Makerere University into a research and innovation hub. All innovators and visionaries from within and outside Makerere, including the artisans from the informal sector, also known as Joakali, are welcome to leverage this space to test and develop their concepts and designs. In this regard, Your Excellency, we are setting up innovation hubs. We seek to mobilize all university community members to embrace and uphold this new research agenda. Your Excellency, we promise that Makerere University will now be debated more for its research and innovation than for staff and student strikes in the new century. Your Excellency, secondly, Makerere University has the legacy of training leaders for the continent and the world. While in the past, the self-driven and passionate young men and women took on the leadership challenges without prior training, Makerere will now provide leadership training programs, initially through the Nyerere Leadership Center, but it will later be rolled out through the various university structures. Makerere will continue its legacy of raising quality leaders for the continent. It has been an incredible opportunity to celebrate 100 years with you all. I wish to thank the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, and the university management for all the efforts in this preparation. I thank the distinguished Ugandans we have celebrated through the public lectures. I thank our leaders, former leaders, our Vice Chancellors, our Chancellors who have given us so much support across the different universities. And thank you, Parliament, for giving us a special recognition and all the other external engagements that we have had with our partners. I look forward to a more impactful Makerere University. Makerere University will be a key driver in societal transformation and national development. It is now my singular honor to invite the Chancellor to address this congregation, Professor Ezra Suruma. You're very welcome, sir.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Visitor and President of the Republic of Uganda, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Tayewa, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Emeritus, Honorable Hakani Rugunda, Your Grace the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Kazimba Mugaru, the Honorable Minister of Education, Deputy Minister of State for Education, representing the First Lady, Honorable Mama Janet Museveni, the Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Ministers, visiting ministers, the Secretary General of NRM, members of the Judicature, honorable members of Parliament, my predecessor, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the chairperson and members of the University Council, the Executive Director of KCCA, Ms. Dorothy Kisaka, the Vice Chancellor and members of the University Management, the Vice Chancellors, former Vice Chancellors, partner CEOs and alumni chapter leaders, members of faculty and staff, Makerere University alumni, the student community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege for me to join the entire Makerere University community in extending a warm welcome to Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Thank you very much for joining us to this main event for the commemoration of 100 years of Makerere University. Your presence in our midst today confirms once again your consistent and unwavering commitment to the improvement of education in Uganda. We thank you wholeheartedly for sparing your precious time to join us in this once-in-a-lifetime centennial commemoration of Makerere University from 1922 to 2022. As Your Excellency is aware, the history of our country in starting and sustaining institutions that serve the critical needs of our people well is still largely in formative stages. We hope and pray that the growth and maturity which Makerere has attained in research and teaching over the last 100 years can serve as an example to other national institutions to not only survive, but also attain excellence in serving our people and the world. Your Excellency, thank you very much for the historical revolution of your administration in providing universal access to education through universal primary education and universal secondary education. It is a fundamental challenge to all Ugandans to rise to the core to ensure that our children get quality education. Despite the tough challenges of raising quality in public institutions, Makerere University's global ranking as a first-class university shows that public institutions can actually achieve excellent performance. This is important because some years back, we were being told that public institutions cannot be good, that they should be sold out or closed. But actually, the history of Makerere University and its standing in our country is proof that public institutions can actually achieve excellence. According to NDP 3, 92% of all parishes now have a government-aided primary school, and 71% of all sub-counties have a government-aided secondary school. Additionally, all major regions of the country have a public university. Given this remarkable access to education, one of the key challenges we now face is to improve the quality and sustainability of these institutions. This challenge applies also to institutions in other sectors such as health, finance, agriculture, transportation, and construction. Strong institutions are indeed a fundamental prerequisite for quality services in all sectors of our society. Allow me to challenge Makerere University and all other education institutions in Uganda to also put greater emphasis on the ethical content of education. The character of our graduates is no less important than their technical knowledge. We already have abundant evidence of teachers who either do not teach or teach relevant subject matter, as well as health workers who are persistently absent from duty for hours and even days. The quality of service delivery in public institutions remains a key challenge for our country. It is a great relief to us all to note that Makerere University has largely risen to this challenge to improve and sustain quality services. It is my sincere prayer that Makerere will lead the way for our country to ensure quality services to our people through sustainable and robust institutions. I thank the Chairperson of Council and her members for excellent work in ensuring proper oversight over the university. I also thank the Vice-Chancellor and his team for strict adherence to high standards of performance in all areas of the university. I thank the faculty and staff for the great work they do behind the scenes, inside and outside the classrooms. And I thank the students for knowing why they are here and for being committed to their calling. Thank you all for carrying Makerere to 100 years. I thank Your Excellency and our First Lady and Minister of Education for the amazing support to Makerere through funding for academic programs, research, innovation, and ongoing reconstruction of our main hall following the tragic fire of September 2021. Thank you ever so much for being here to launch Makerere University toward the next 100 years. As I conclude, let me also assure our development partners that we do greatly value and appreciate their extensive support for numerous critical research programs they have been funding during the past 100 years. Thank you very much, our development partners. Your Excellency, before I sit down, allow me to mention that in 1980, I was a senior lecturer here, and with my colleague, Joshua Mjenyi, we started Uganda National Movement here at Makerere because we were bothered by the extreme chaos in our country. And you invited us, Joshua Mjenyi and I, may his soul rest in peace, and we came and joined you to form the Uganda Patriotic Movement, which later became your National Resistance Movement. So Makerere may not be aware that we had a small footprint also in the current movement which you lead. Thank you very much. With these few words, I have been told I was supposed to invite the First Lady, but since she's not here, I think I'll leave it to the MC to invite the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Those hand claps, ladies and gentlemen, those hand claps were not sufficient. So these ones that you are about to present will be sufficient for both the Chairperson of Council and the Chancellor of the University. Your Excellency, perhaps what the Chairperson of Council did not tell you, Mrs. Magara, is that beyond her service as Chairperson of the Council, she has benefited immensely from this university, not through just an education, but also picked an incredible husband from here. And that gentleman, I am told, is a historic member of the science of dentistry, that he was one of the first graduates of dentistry from this university. I think, Dr. Magara, you may wish to stand up for recognition. Now, Your Excellency, having had these incredible presentations from two distinguished members of the management of this university, I think let us relax for at least a minute or two through the presentation of a beautiful song presented by the Makerere University Community Choir, which is a choir that comprises of not just the students, but also former students. That, Your Excellency, you'd know better than all of us. It is a necessary disruption, but a reassurance of how safe we all are thanks to you. And as the university choir sets up stage, the following people please prepare to come to this podium for 1 minute of a goodwill message to the celebration of 100 years. You are the following: Professor Daniel Weiler of the University of Zurich, Henrietta Wamala, the President of the Uganda North American Association, and our friend Shukuru Bizi, the President of the Alumni Association of Makerere University in neighboring Rwanda. And as the song is presented, from which we shall proceed with more engagements, Your Excellency, I also wish to announce that I've been unfair to my co-MC, who now I wish to invite to guide us going forward in announcing the rest of the programming. Her name is Dr. Zahara from the School of Law at Makerere University. And so you may not hear much from me again, Your Excellency and members, If it wasn't for COVID, I would have requested that I come forward and shake your hand. If it wasn't that you are very far from me, I would have possibly waved at you and you see me. But since both of those are not possible, Your Excellency, here is my humble request to you. In your speech, please include my name. Then from there, you and I will have a conversation. The choir, please.
kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju ye twa kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju ye twa kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju ye twa kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju ye twa kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju ye twa kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju ye twa kurwe juju la mere ye twa kurwe juju We either win or they lose.
Wow, wow. Can we put our hands together for those beautiful voices and sounds of the Performing Arts Department? Your Excellency, when I was a law student about 20 or so years ago here at this university, and I was working with my colleagues to the library to read cases, we used to pass under the trees at the Faculty of Social Sciences then and hear the wonderful drums and voices, and we're like, how easy it is for them to do their coursework. But I know also, from having since matured, that it is not easy to shake your body the way those young people do. And I have also auditioned once or twice for a choir and been turned down. So we do appreciate the voices. Thank you very much, Department of Performing Arts and Film, Makerere University. I'd like to take this opportunity at this juncture to invite the Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education, Honorable Chrysostom Muyingo, to make his remarks, and thereafter invite the Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa to invite our guest of honor. Honorable Muyingo, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and a visit at Makerere University, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, the Secretary General
of the mighty NRM party, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Emeritus, allow me to recognize all the protocol as presented by the Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I stand here to represent my senior minister, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, who was invited and she actually went ahead and prepared, but due to equally important state duties elsewhere, she's not able to be with us today. She asked me to come in, and I'm here to deliver her message verbatim. Your Excellency, today is a historic day. It's a historic day in our nation as we gather to commemorate 100 years of the oldest and premier university in East Africa, and that's Makerere University. We celebrate a university recognized for nurturing the most renowned post-independence leaders in the African continent. Leaders such as former presidents of Kambarage Nyerere, Benjamin Mkapa of Tanzania, Mwai Kibaki of Kenya, as well as Kenya's first vice president, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, including many other leaders across the continent. Your Excellency, in Uganda, Makerere has educated several national leaders. Talk of presidents, vice presidents, speakers of parliament, prime ministers, government ministers, members of parliament, including leaders from all strata of society. Furthermore, our very own President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who studied at the University of Dar es Salaam, joined Makerere Distinguished Alumni when he received an honorary doctorate on the 12th December 2010. Makerere's mandate and heritage are to raise leaders for the continent and beyond. So time cannot permit me to enumerate all the distinguished men and women of various disciplines, educated in this great university whose impact reaches beyond Uganda's borders and globally. As an honored alumni of this great institution myself, I join thousands of well-wishers and alumni worldwide to congratulate Makerere University as we celebrate and thank God for this incredible legacy. The year-long celebrations have been marked by showcasing the success of the past century, celebrating noteworthy personalities, reflecting on the challenges and dialoguing with partners for future aspirations. As we commemorate the significance of the past 100 years, we must leverage the vast experiences and lessons learned to spur national transformation. In this new dawn, we have an opportunity to restore what has been broken and set a fresh path and momentum for future generations. Consequently, I challenge Makerere University to step out of the limitations of the past, anticipate the demands of the future, and intentionally seek to provide solutions for society's needs. As government, we commit to supporting you in this endeavor. I thank the government of Uganda, in particular, Your Excellency the President, for your leadership and unwavering support toward the restoration and renovation of several university structures. We thank you, Your Excellency. In this regard, Your Excellency, I recently laid the foundation stone for the rebuilding of the main building that was regrettably gutted by fire in September 2020. I also officiated at the opening of the School of Dentistry. Through similar government efforts, the School of Law will soon have its new facility in place, and the renovation of students' halls of residence has also begun. We have started with the Lumumba Hall, Your Excellency. In addition, resources have been availed for the construction of Makerere's teaching hospital and many other ongoing projects, Your Excellency. Even more impactful is the government's annual contribution of 30 billion shillings towards research and innovation in the priority areas stipulated in the National Development Plan 3. Indeed, the future is promising as Makerere spearheads homegrown solutions for our problems and exceptional circumstances. As we work together to enhance the facilities and infrastructure at Makerere University and other universities, I appeal to the current beneficiaries of Makerere and the younger people gathered here to please be mindful of the detractors and the enemies of development that may seek to delay you from achieving your education and fulfilling your life goals. Don't accept to be distracted. To the alumni in Uganda and in the diaspora, I invite you to commit to partnering with Makerere University as it delivers on its core mandate of teaching, learning, research, and service to the community. May we all endeavor to give back to this great institution that laid the foundation for the leadership and development of Uganda, development of nations in Africa, and the development in the world. As I conclude, Your Excellency, I express my sincere gratitude to the University Council, the management, the Makerere at 100 organizing committee, and all the leaders in your various constituencies in the university. We thank you. We thank you for the dedication to ensuring a memorable Makerere at 100 commemoration. Your passion, your innovation, and your commitment to accomplishing this work throughout this year are quite remarkable. Thank you for your selfless service and for enabling us to proudly acknowledge and truly thank God for the outstanding achievements of the last century. We commit the next 100 years to the one who is able to do so much more than we can ever ask for or even think of, our God and the Father. Your Excellency, I've been told by the MC that something is about to happen. Let's watch the screen. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chrysostom Muyingo, Minister of State for Higher Education, celebrating a century of service to humanity. Your Excellency, we thank you, and we thank Honorable Muyingo for the message of commitment that your government will continue to support Makerere University. Because it's a day of celebration, we beg your indulgence, Your Excellency, before we may request you to come and speak to us, to continue to celebrate Makerere University. Makerere University is a pot of broth with many cooks, and we'd like to allow as many persons that have contributed to cooking the soup to say something about Makerere University. Allow me at this juncture to request Henrietta Wamala from the Uganda North American Association to say something about Makerere.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Royal Highnesses, Members of Parliament, the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor of Makerere University, distinguished dignitaries, the students of Makerere University, friends of Makerere University, all protocols observed. It gives me great pleasure to represent the Ugandan diaspora here today as the president of the Ugandan North American Association. And I indeed bring hearty greetings from the members and Makerere alumni from North America. A few weeks ago, at our UNA convention, we had a chance to celebrate this momentous occasion with a delegation from Makerere, led by Professor Barnabas Nawangwe in North America. The feedback has been very positive, especially from the alumni and the friends of Makerere. Most of them saying that they felt a special touch and were honored that Makerere was able to come and share such a milestone with the diaspora. It's no secret that while many of us were growing up, the dream was to be successful at school and eventually graduating from this prestigious Makerere University of ours. Now you should know that Makerere is the Oxford, the Yale of Africa, or even the world. And it's been every parent's dream, just as we were kids, to see that people were graduating from this institution. Now, even as we have made homes out of Uganda, we are still nostalgic to see that our relatives whom we have taken guardianship of and helped through school can still graduate in this institution. That's our dream as some of us in the diaspora. Therefore, I stand with pride and great honor that we as diaspora have been included in these centennial celebrations. Thank you so much, Makerere management. As you may know, some of the smartest and greatest minds in the diaspora today are alumni from this great institution. And they have been a blessing, guiding, highlight, upholding our image as Ugandans, as immigrants abroad. Our Makerere alumni are people from all walks of life. We have heads of states, we have royals, we have technocrats, we have doctors, we have educators, we have engineers, and all who are making an impact in the world today. Makerere University has evolved over the years, and we out there see it as one of the most advanced science and technological institutions, which has produced scientists, engineers, researchers, and they are breaking barriers with some of the major institutions around the world, and even home here today, institutions such as Chira Motors, which is Uganda's leading automotive industry, and the scientific research, which has been evidenced even during the COVID pandemic. So those are milestones that we should be proud of as Ugandans. We would like to see more of these institutions arise from Makerere to create more jobs for its graduates. Uganda needs more job creators for its young workforce. We hope that Makerere can take lead on this as Uganda's leading institution for academic excellence, research, and innovation. The diaspora community continues to do its part. We support our nation by supporting our families. That is through remittances, through investments, skills, and training. Some of us who are interested in trade are also actively creating awareness of Ugandan exports abroad. Our emphasis is on finding new markets, improvement of products here, and adding value to the products through resource development, which equates to processing and manufacturing. As in the past, as His Excellency has simply put it, trade is the tool of positive change, stability and wealth of humanity, which definitely opens doors to poverty eradication, and strengthens prosperity in economies and will yield socio-economic transformation for the citizens of Uganda in a large moment. As diaspora, we are proud. We are proud of the partnership UNA has made with Makerere University, and we pray that we celebrate the best of this institution. And more can be done by government, by private citizens, to see that it yields even better. We stay committed to this relationship and to build a better future for Uganda, for we look forward to seeing our children and our great-grandchildren celebrating another 100 years in the future. So I would like to join each and every one of you as we ululate this milestone for Makerere and say happy centennial celebrations to Makerere University. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, Madame Henrietta Wamala. Your Excellency, I'm reliably informed that when the Makerere delegation went to San Francisco to join the UNA convention, the convention became about Makerere University. So we thank you for that commitment, diaspora, and for loving Makerere University. We also have partners that we work with externally. I'd like to invite Professor Daniel Weiler from the University of Zurich, and I trust, Professor, that you'll be able to say something in 1 minute.
Okay. Your Excellency, the President of Uganda, I was also ambushed somehow into this talk yesterday and was given 2 minutes. Now, unlike the previous speaker, I will not take revenge on your tight schedule, but will hopefully stay within a minute. This is also expected of a Swiss. But before I tell you my message, I would like to add a personal comment. Each time I'm here in Uganda, I'm so pleased with the humor, the jokes people make, the openness, and we have seen much of it also today. Of course, needless to say, in Switzerland, you will not have such a culture. Okay, so for the last 100 years, Makerere University has been a beacon of science and innovation in Africa. My visit here has shown me again how young and dynamic this university has remained and is eager to stay as a leader. The University of Zurich is proud of its long-standing collaborations with Makerere, in particular in the human health and veterinary sciences. In some sense, you can say Makerere has opened much of the world for the people in Zurich. We are honored to be part of Makerere's important role in Africa and assure it of all our support now, now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And indeed, the Swiss did not disappoint. At this juncture, let me invite the last person to give a goodwill message. That is the president of the Alumni Association in Rwanda, Shukuru Bizimungu.
Your Excellency, President Museveni, all protocol observed. My name is Shukuru Bizimungu Yondo. I head the Association of
Makerere Rwanda alumni. I'm here to celebrate and to thank Makerere University for the opportunity it gave me and the potential it kind of instilled in me to serve my country, Rwanda, and to serve the world at large. Had it not been Makerere University, I think I wouldn't have actually moved from my small village in Ntungamo, Ruhama, to here, where I spent 4 years studying a course that is so dear to everybody here, including the head of state. I can see he has a cup of tea. I studied food science and technology here at Makerere University. That was my base over there for 4 years, and I was a resident of Nkrumah Hall for 4 years. Nkrumah, oye! Yes, with the delegation from Kigali, I request them to stand up for recognition. Please, Makerere University Rwanda Students Association. Yes. Thank you so much. We all appreciate. I have come here to bring appreciation from all members of MURWA. We call it MURWA, Makerere University Rwanda Alumni Association. They are so happy. We have many members from this gallant institution, ministers, ambassadors. I'm happy to also be a boss of His Excellency, the Ambassador, Your Excellency Joseph, the Ambassador of Rwanda, the High Commissioner of Rwanda to Uganda. Yes, he's my ambassador, but I'm also his boss. I'm so happy. We are happy to have you, sir. So, Your Excellency, we are so happy as alumni in Rwanda to be here as we celebrate 100 years. And as I said, Makerere University has really shaped me. I served Rwanda, and I'm now serving the world at United Nations level based in Kigali. I thank you. I thank you, Makerere, Professor Nawangwe, and Right Honorable Chidega, when you were in Kigali the other day celebrating with us 100 years. You really showed us that we are important, and we also think we are important in developing the world, but we take all that from Makerere University. Thank you so much.
Indeed, it is true, Your Excellency, that Makerere is serving a century of service to humanity beyond Uganda's goals, as is evident from the speech from the president of the Rwanda Alumni. I'm also pleased that in our midst we have visitors, ministers, delegates from neighboring countries, and I'd like to request you to stand up as I read your name. Ambassador Joseph Rutabana, Republic of Rwanda, thank you very much for coming. Minister of Higher Education from the Republic of South Sudan, Honorable Gabriel Chang. And the Minister of Education for Liberia, Mr. Fopo, Honorable Fopo. We also have the Director General, Directorate of Accreditation, Private and Foreign Higher Education in the Ministry of Higher Education of South Sudan, Professor Mamour Tanuk. Thank you very much for coming. We also have our student leaders. We are pleased to have our student leaders, former student leaders from Makerere University. I'm happy to say that the first female guild president was elected during the time I was a student leader. Honorable Sarah and your colleagues, the former guild presidents and student leaders, kindly stand up for recognition. Thank you very much. We are also pleased that we have a big representation of our partners, the Uganda People's Defense Forces. So security is high level. Thank you very much. We have a big delegation at the back. Maybe they can wave to us. if their discipline allows. Thank you very much, UPDF, for the support that we always enjoy from Makerere University. At this juncture, it's my honor and pleasure to request Right Honorable Thomas Taebwa to come and do the honors of inviting you, our chief guest.
Your Excellency, sir, I should also inform you that we have the Minister of Education from the Republic of Rwanda, Madam Valentine Owamaria, who is here with us to celebrate. Mr. President, we have appreciated you, your efforts, but the most outstanding, when I came to 2001 study here, I was doing social sciences, and there is what we called studying by rumor. What it meant, Mr. President, was because of little studying space or lecture rooms, students, some of us would sometimes stand in windows, and then the student who is inside would hear, and the one outside would ask, what did the lecturer say? So we called it studying by rumor. Your Excellency, you sorted that by building infrastructure for Makerere. When you move around, there is no more studying by rumor in Makerere. Your Excellency, number two, we've appreciated you for doing much, but we who benefited from Makerere are not doing a lot for Makerere to supplement your efforts. We've become big, we earn a lot, but we are not giving back to Makerere. When you look at universities which we appreciate, like Harvard, they have an endowment fund of $53 billion. Makerere alumni, how much are we giving back to our university to supplement efforts of government and His Excellency the President? I think it's a very big challenge to us, because when you go to the Western world, people are even putting universities in their will to benefit from their estate. We are building churches, we are building mosques, but we are not building universities. We are leaving it to government at Yambi. When I was reading the history of missionaries, they said, go build big churches, but build bigger schools. Because bigger schools will produce people who will build bigger and bigger churches. So alumni, let's give back to our university. And I will start by being an example. Finally, Your Excellency, it's a dialogue which we've started as young people, and we are working on a concept which we are soon bringing to you. Most beneficiaries of government sponsorship, Your Excellency, are students from well-to-do families. They are students of the rich, from Namagunga, from Ksuri, from Chitende. That's where all of us are taking our children so that they excel and can benefit from government sponsorship. Your Excellency, in Mitoma, before Makerere started the district quota system, you could find we couldn't get a student to benefit on government sponsorship, studying from Mitoma. Now, you find now we get 8 students because you have a special program per quota, which you give to students who studied from those poor districts. But the people benefiting here coming to get fees from Makerere who disturb you of leaving out allowance and what are children of Tayebwas. They are not children of those peasants in Karamoja. So we are working on a concept which we shall share with you, Your Excellency, as a proposal to you, sir, that government sponsorship is changed so that those students of the rich can come to Makerere and pay for medicine, pay for law, pay for dentists, But children of the poor are the ones you give that government sponsorship. Because these children, where they are coming from, Your Excellency, the schools they come from are schools where fees is higher than what they pay at Makerere. When they are given school fees, sometimes they even take it, you know, they don't even appreciate because they are cheap, they rough and say, but I mean, my father can even afford taking me to America. What are you telling me about your government scholarship here? So I shared with Professor Kwakor. I'm glad she's here. And Your Excellency, we shall be soon bringing a proposal so that those who should benefit from poor families. Some of us who afford. I have over 10 students here. Why should my child benefit from a scholarship at Makerere? With that, Your Excellency, I take this honor to invite you to address the congregation.
Sit down, please. Sit down. The Right Honorable Tayewa, Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Hakana Rugunda, Prime Minister Emeritus, Right Honorable Todong, Secretary General NRM, Chancellor, Makerere University, Vice Chancellor, Ministers, and all the invited guests. On behalf of the government, I congratulate Makerere University and the alumni and the people of Uganda on this occasion of the 100 years since Makerere started as a teaching institution. There is an Education Review Commission headed by the Honorable Amanya Mushega. And I met them the other day. And the aim of that commission Okay. Are you hearing me? When I was addressing them, because like you see when you talk, 1922, Makerere started, and so on and so forth. But we have been here for 4.5 million years. The human race started here in Africa. And we have been here for 4.5 million years. How can the educational system just concentrate on 100 years? There's something there. Because we were here long, long ago. It is true, we have made some achievements, which I will point out, but you need a holistic understanding of society. Maybe you could benefit from Archbishop Kazimba when he reminds you of the book of Genesis, where God gave us the original mandate. You remember God worked very hard. He did something on Monday. Then on Tuesday, he did something else. Then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then on Saturday, you created a human being. And when you created the human being, he said, you man. He was originally a man, then later on a man produced a woman. And he said, you people, multiply and fill the earth. That one the Africans are doing very well. But also establish dominion over nature. Because remember, God created man in his own image, different from all these other things he was creating. And then he said, because you are a small God, you are a little bit like me, establish dominion over nature. And that's where Professor Kagonyara, I want to thank him for his reinforcement. When he was speaking here, in my battle on behalf of science education, because what did that establishing dominion over nature means? What did it? Yeah, what did it mean? It meant this man, who was a small God, because he was a little bit like God, would understand the laws of nature and use them for his own benefit, I think. And what are the laws of nature? Gravity, pressure, heat. This is nature. If you understand the laws of nature and you use them to solve problems, then that is science. So therefore, in my presentation to the Amanya Mushega Commission, I will point out that the story of man is a long one. 4.5 million years since the Homo sapiens sapien, as he's called, the wise man with the 3 characteristics: a superior brain, walking on 2 legs, bipedal, and having a hand which can hold and do things. This is the difference between man and all the other creatures. So therefore, this Makerere, this 1922, is a phenomenon at a certain historical point as a consequence of what had gone on in our society before. The question is, how were the African societies organized before colonialism? How were they organized? They should be studied thoroughly by the social science. I am one of the people who refused to come to Makerere. I refused. I said I would not go to Makerere. When we were making choices, all my 3 choices were put to the University of Dar es Salaam. Choice number 1, Dar es Salaam. Choice number 2, Dar es Salaam. Choice number 3, Dar es Salaam. Why? Because I wanted to be near Nyerere. And why Nyerere? Because Nyerere was already being talked about as somebody who wanted integration of East Africa and who was fighting for the liberation of Southern Africa at that time. So therefore, when we are auditing Makerere in these 100 years and these other groups, the auditing should start with, did they understand, especially the social, when I come to the auditing, I will make a difference between science and the social sciences. These ones of Kasiate. Oh, Kasiate is mentioned now. So, the African social science should study these African societies before the onset of colonialism. Why is it that when the foreigners came, they conquered us? Why? Kasiate needs to answer that. Apart from speaking on the microphone and so on, he needs to answer that. So when I read what Dr. Mwambutia and these others write here, I don't see quite that. What was it? Why was it? Because the Europeans came very slowly. The Europeans came here because of the problems they had in Europe. In 1453, the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople. I'm glad Dr. Kazimbi is here, but also don't dismiss my credentials as a religious person. Those of you who say they are Christians would have read the book of the Acts of the Apostles. In that book, there's a man called St. Paul there, who was on the opposition, but he was converted to this side. And now he went through a place called Asia Minor. In the Bible, it's called Asia Minor. But if you go on the map now, you can't see Asia Minor. What was being called Asia Minor in the Bible is now Turkey. And those letters which St. Paul was writing to the Ephesians, where are the Ephesians? They are in Turkey. Ephesus is in Turkey. The Galatians, where's Galatia? Turkey. Some of the towns are in Greece, like Corinth, like Thessalonica, they're in Greece. Now, that area, which was originally where St. Paul was operating, was captured by the Ottoman Turks in 1453. When the Ottoman Turks captured that place, they blocked the Europeans from going to the east. You remember there was that route which had been established by a man called Marco Polo. In your old history, you would have heard of that. And this was the Silk Road, was bringing silk, was bringing spices, but it was now blocked. The Chinese president these days is talking of the Silk Road. He wants to bring back that trade route. So when the Europeans were blocked on the land route, that's when they started looking for a route around by sea to the east. And the ones who led that effort were the Portuguese. By 1472, they were near Sierra Leone. 1482, a Portuguese man called Diego Cama got to where Angola is now. 1487, another Portuguese man called Bartholomew Diaz got to where Cape of Good Hope is now. And 1498, Vasco da Gama goes around South Africa and lands at Natal. That's why Natal is called Natal, because he arrived there on Christmas Day, 1498. And then he proceeded to Mombasa, and then he attacked Mombasa when he was going to India. Now, this is 1498. The Europeans were coming to the East African coast. And rumor was coming. The problem, what I don't, because I belong to a clan which has been here all these times. And we know all those histories. But it is never taught in the school. They're just running around talking about small things. For instance, there was a man from Karagwe. You can't hear it in any of the schools. This man Karagwe is in Tanzania now. There was a man called Kakarakashagama, Kamango, Katondajira Karukunyu. This man was a prophet, and he prophesied that you people, this land of yours, will be taken by foreigners, meaning Africa, meaning these parts which he knew, Karagwe, Ankole, Buganda, Rwanda, Bujinja, there are some places in Tanzania, will be taken by foreigners. But our traditional chiefs were not bothered. Just full of themselves, they put on leopard skins. When he puts on a leopard skin, he thinks he's a leopard. So you can imagine, Vasco da Gama passes by 1498. The first white man to come to Uganda here, you remember, was Huntington Speke, 1862. This is almost 400 years. When the Europeans are coming, passing. Now, these chiefs here within Africa don't organize themselves to say, we hear there are some people who are coming, let's organize ourselves. No, they are just here full of themselves. And when they come, they capture all these fellows like grasshoppers. Some of them try to fight like cavalry. They can't. It was already too late. So, who has done that audit of that society? Now, meanwhile, this imbalance between Europe and Africa was not always there, because you have heard that God gave us the mandate, establish dominion over nature. Establishing dominion over nature means really understanding science. That's what it means. Be able to deal with the drought, be able to deal with the diseases, be able to deal with the floods. That's what establishing dominion over nature means in the Bible. And for us, in our NRM, we always teach our people that the primer, I heard somebody talking of socio-economic change. But what is the primer? The primer is the initiator of social change. The primer of social change, socio-economic change, is development of science and technology. When man invented fire, fire was invented 1.5 million years ago. You can imagine, man was here 4.5 million years ago. But fire was invented 3 million years after. Before that, there was no fire. And when fire was invented, it caused big changes in society. People could, before fire, people were sleeping in trees, because trees were the only safe place where you could be, so that the animals don't eat you. But with the invention of fire, the human beings could move into the caves. They could light the caves and move there, and warm the caves and stay there. And the caves were more comfortable than the trees. So there was social change, social progress from tree to cave. That's progress, because the caves were a bit more protected. So you come, the invention of fire, the Africans did it. Invention of agriculture, to capture crops from the bush and bring them home here so that you don't have to go looking for them in the bush. Domestication of animals, of cows. There also my ancestors played a role. They brought them from the bush, they put them home. The invention of iron, all this, the Africans did it on their own. I don't know how it was spreading, but they did it. Now the problem was that in the last 500 years, the Africans lagged behind. And that's what the education system must bring out. How did the Africans lag behind? Because fire, they were there. Agriculture, domestication of crops, they were there. Domestication of livestock, they were there. The invention of iron, they were there. But what happened? When the Europeans invented gunpowder, we didn't know about it. For us, we continued with the spears, with the arrows, and so on. Now, as you hear, the Europeans came up to Mombasa, but they couldn't enter. Couldn't come inside Africa. Why? Africa was defending us. Africa, the land, was defending us. How? By the mosquito, by the distance. But the Europeans, in the 400 years after Vasco da Gama passed here, discovered quinine. Quinine, they discovered quinine. So they could be able to deal with malaria. And by the time they got here, they had discovered the steam engine. The steam engine. That's how they were able to build the railway from the coast to here. So they had solved the problem of disease, solved the problem of distance by train, and solved the problem of superior firepower by inventing gunpowder when our half-naked fellows were running around with spears only. So therefore, I congratulate Makerere, especially the science side. And when we came, of course, for us, NRM, we had studied all this. By the time we came, our views were very clear. What I'm telling you is what I was talking about more than 40 years ago when we were in the bush. So we knew that the primer of social change is science and technology. So when we came here, first of all, like the friend from Rwanda is talking of the faculty of food science. I ordered them to start that faculty because it was not there. I said, how can you have a university without it? I told the one who was in charge, was it Chiria or who, to start it. The faculty of food science. And also the faculty of quantitative economics. I insisted on that. And then Then expanding the other faculties, the faculty of medicine, started in Barra University. When I started in Barra University, there was a debate. Why do you start a new one? Where will the doctors go? The doctors are too few. Have you heard of something called WHO? So yes, we have heard about it. What does the WHO tell you? How many doctors do we need per what portion of population? We need one doctor every 500 people. So Uganda now with 43 million people, we should be having 80,000 doctors. But how many do we have now? You total the doctors ever since you started. I don't think they're even, maybe about 5,000. So therefore, I congratulate especially the science faculty. Medicine, they have really, those ones are a little bit in the line of God, of the book of Genesis. Establish dominion over Ebola. That's what Jesus said. Establish dominion over Ebola. Establish dominion over Corona. Establish dominion over all these diseases. So those ones, I congratulate them, they are trying. The other science faculties, they are also trying, because now technology, they have produced our Chira vehicle. Dr. Mrango, food science, is busy with the bananas. They are actually trying. The science groups are trying. They are trying. But still, maybe you should help me. When somebody gets a Bachelor of Science in agriculture, the other day I was in Namulonge, and there were, our people were there from here, from Makerere. And there was cotton there. Cotton. I said, what do you get from cotton? They told me textiles. I said, oh, thank you. Cooking oil from the seed. I said, thank you. Of course, you can also get animal feed from the sitting cod cake. I said, I think it was a lady. Maybe she's also here. So I said, and she said, those are the ones I know. But me, who is a bushman, I know there's something in cotton which I have not mentioned. This is gunpowder. I don't think that person had, I don't know whether he or she is here. I don't think they had ever known that gunpowder, which these people are using to kill us, especially the modern one, is from cotton. So, in the faculty of agriculture, was the emphasis grow more cotton, grow more coffee, do it in a better way, and so on? How about value addition? Was it being taught in the faculty of agriculture to add value? Because if I train in crops, I should study the whole value chain, fresh, processed, and sub-processed. You audit that. How is it? So therefore, with the science, definitely there is some progress, and that's why I have been pushing it. You remember I said 70% of the scholarships go to science. This has been going on for almost almost 20 years now. Recently, when I insisted on paying better science teachers, there was a big struggle, but I think we are moving. So science, we moved a bit. We are now going to move more decisively, and I would like to convince all of you that really science is the primer of all social change. If you don't deal with science, you may not even exist. You may even disappear from. If you go to Australia now, there are people they call Australians, but those are Europeans who came and found those indigenous people there. They are the main group there. The indigenous Australians are always, they are very miserable people. America, when you go to America, who are the Americans? Americans who are there now are Europeans. What happened to the original people? They lagged behind in science and technology. So therefore, either you disappear or you survive at the mercy of others. And since God gave me this opportunity to be here to talk to lead the country, I will not allow Ugandans to be part of that. That's why I am insisting on science and technology. But coming to the social sciences, that's why I went to Dar es Salaam. The social sciences, because if we are to survive in the modern world, we must deal with two issues. Deal with the issue of prosperity. How will our society be more prosperous? You cannot be prosperous unless you produce more goods and services of all types. Now, the more goods you produce, look at the Japanese. The Japanese don't have natural resources. They don't have oil, they don't have minerals, they don't have what? But they are the third richest country in the world. Why? The Taiwanese are the one making them rich, and themselves. Because I came here in a Japanese car, I think. These Toyotas, the what, all these clans of Japanese cars, Toyota, Mitsubishi, those are Japanese families or something. That's how Japan is very prosperous. They produce goods, we give them money, and they become rich. So, if production of goods and services can only be realized when you sell what you produce, what is the plan here in Africa? The social scientists should be talking of, economists should be talking of integration, economic integration, because when I produce a good, the more people that buy it, the better. If I produce, people buy, the more they buy, the more prosperous I become. The more prosperous I become, the more people I employ, the more taxes I pay, the more. So if you don't solve the issue of integration, if you don't talk about it as a main point, how shall we build prosperity? United States is a prosperous country because of that big market. China now has come up. India. What is the thinking here in academia, in Africa, in the government, in the bureaucracy? Talking about other things. How about strategic security? How can you ensure security? Like what is going on now in Europe, the wars. The other day, NATO came and attacked Libya, an African country. against the permission, again, without the permission of the African Union. We're just sitting, Libya is in chaos now. For I don't know how long, for how many years now, almost 20 years now. Africa is just here. Now, if you don't deal with prosperity, which you can get through, partly through integration, you don't deal with strategic security, then what are you doing? So I think social science has got a very serious challenge. I had come here the other time, there was somebody called Professor Kirumira. We talked, but we didn't conclude. I would again like to come back and talk to especially the ones of history and the ones of political science. When we were in the university in Dar es Salaam, building modules. Why are you building modules? This is reality here. Assuming, why are you assuming? This is reality. Why don't you deal with it? Huh? You go the whole day until you get tired, assuming this, assuming. So I congratulate Makerere, especially the science branch, the Faculty of Medicine, agriculture, but agriculture they need to tell me why they don't know that is gunpowder in cotton. The Faculty of Engineering, the Faculty of Food Science, it has come up, they are doing very well. Chamhangire, Dr. Murangan, all the others, they are doing very well. Those ones are actually doing very well. The ICT, I see them also doing something. So I congratulate those and I encourage them and I want them to deepen what they are doing. Social science, Katwogere. Let's get time and talk. Naye, Famaganda tugamba, ekitata muyima, tekikola ki? Ekitata muyima? The proverb is that if a muhima doesn't die, even if the cows die, he will get new ones. So since Makerere has survived 100 years, what has not been done will be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the wonderful speech. The protocols are going to follow as follows. But before that, Your Excellency, let me thank you for mentioning my name not just once but twice, and for inviting me to be part of the group of social scientists that will come to see you for a talk. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the conclusion of our 100-year celebration. We will move very swiftly as follows. We will have the anthem sung in reverse order, and then His Excellency shall depart. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there is no celebration in Africa that goes without a meal. So we request you humbly that you stay and enjoy a meal that has been prepared for 100 years. Those without teeth with dentists are here. The solutions are in plenty. But how shall we partake of that? I will announce the protocols when our guest of honor has exited. But also I have been reminded that there is no celebration that does take place in Africa, complete with a guest of honor of the level of His Excellency the President, that goes without that guest receiving a gift. So Makerere University, Your Excellency, has prepared a gift not only for you, but also for the Minister of Education, who is not present, but we know for sure that when you receive her gift, it will arrive in real time. So may I request this young man, Brian, who prepared the gift, and Your Excellency, this gift is not an assumption, it is a real one. It was done by hand, and it was made here at Makerere University and not from Japan. As the gift comes, I've also been informed that there is no celebration in Africa which goes without distinguished people taking a photograph with His Excellency the President. But then I have also been reminded that owing to the time schedule available, we will use technology to have that picture with you, Your Excellency. For you, you go, we shall send you the picture where you were, but you were not there physically. His Excellency the President receives a hand-drawn painting from a young artist of Makerere University called Brian, who took his time to draw you and the Minister of Education. We are progressing well, Your Excellency. Tremendous. We have three categories of people, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm now requested to go and join His Excellency the President for a group picture. The Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, and only the principals of those places at Makerere University that are headed by principals, including and not limited to Makerere University Business School. Please, let's make it quick. The protocol people will usher us in. There is another category, but in those pictures, the Right Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and the Minister of Education, you are going to be a constant fixture. So please join them. Now the Chair of Council, your Vice Chairperson of Council, and the chairpersons of the committees in the Council, not Council members, but the chairpersons of the committees of the Council, please move towards the dais where the picture is being taken. You are the next group. Let's make it quick. The Rainmaker gave me 3 minutes for this. He told me if I go against his instructions, I will not take responsibility of what happens to your beautiful hair and clothes. As the council chairpersons prepare to go, the last group of people take a picture is the central management of Makerere University. That includes the Vice Chancellor, your Deputy Vice Chancellors, and the protocols as you know them. Professor Nawangwe has told me that His Excellency the President requests that the delegation of ministers from the rest of the other sister African countries please step forward to take a picture with Your Excellency. Protocol will guide us.
That is visiting delegations. Thank you very much. The visiting delegations from other African countries, that includes ministers of education in their respective capacities. Thank you very much. The Rainmaker has agreed to allow me a few seconds. Great. So, Your Excellency, please take your position. Like I requested you earlier to mention my name and you did, another gentleman here has said if I don't mention his name before you, after you have gone, he cannot guarantee my security. And that gentleman is called Dr. Milton Wabiona. Dr. Milton Wabiona is an incredible performing arts scientist. When everything fails in Africa, at least we sing and dance. So Milton and his choir are going to step forward and sing the national anthem and other anthems in the reverse order in which we sang them at the beginning. After which, Your Excellency, you may depart at leisure. See you again when we return here for the 200th Makerere University celebrations.
Great Britain,
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu, jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu, jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free, for liberty, together we'll always stand. Oh, Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all at our country's calling, peace and friendship will live. Oh, Uganda, the land that feeds us by sun and fighters our soul. For our own land, we shall always stand as part of Africa's crown.
Thank you and have a blessed day, Your Excellency. As the rest of us remain here to continue with our celebrations, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests in all our respective capacities, after the exit of His Excellency the President, we will follow an ushered protocol to where lunch shall be served. Please let us follow the simple rules of UNEB, which tells us that do not open this booklet until you have been told to do so, in bold and capital letters. Please do not raise from your seat to go to where lunch is served unless you have been requested to by our incredible ushers.
We thank you so much for keeping it with us all day. We are still coming to you live from Makerere University, the #1 in Uganda, and the #1 university in Uganda, and also the #1 in Uganda, and the 934th in the whole world. That's the presidential convoy. His Excellency the President is departing from the event. He unveiled the monument for the 100-year celebrations of the university, and he has also given a very good speech where he said he thinks there is more need to boost sciences, and as well he thinks the social sciences need to do more
A number of them are being sold at
towards the development of Africa and Uganda in general. President Yoweri Museveni is among the former chancellors of Makerere University. He succeeded. This is how the list goes. This is how the list goes of the former chancellors of Makerere University. Makerere had Dr. Apollo Milton Obote in 1970 to 1971, then 1981 to 1985. Then we had General Idi Amin Dada in 1971 to 1979. Then President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni came in 1986 up to 2002, where the trend was changed to have a chancellor who is not head of state, a non-head of state chancellor for Makerere University and public universities. And the first ever was the late Professor Apollo Robin Sebambi, who reigned from 2003 to 2007. Then there came Professor George Mondo Kagonyera, who reigned from 2007 to 2015 as Chancellor Makerere University. He was inherited by the current and serving Chancellor, who is Professor the current Chancellor is Professor Ezra Suruma. We have had a number of Vice Chancellors. The first Vice Chancellor was H. Osville in 1922. Then we got Douglas Tomlings, George Turner, William Lamont, Bernard de Bansen. Then the first black Vice Chancellor was Professor Yusuf Chironde Lule. 1963 to 1970. Then we had Professor Francis Kalemera Kalimuzo, 1970-1971, Asavia Wandira, 1972-1975. Then JSW Lutwama, 1975-77. William Sentes Akajubi, 1977-1979. Then 1990 to 1993. Then we got Pancras Professor John Mukasa Sebufu, 1993-2004. Then Livingstone Serwada Lubobi, that is 2004-2009. That was my first Vice Chancellor when I was here in my first, actually, the time I was at Makerere, he was the Vice Chancellor. And he saw the incoming of Professor Venantius Bariamureba, who came in 2009, Professor John Dumba Sentamu, and then Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, the serving and current Vice Chancellor of Makerere University. I now have the opportunity to talk to the first female guild president of Makerere University, the Honorable Sarah Kajingo. We're so proud to have you on UBC TV.
Thank you very much.
What do you make of the 100 years of Makerere University?
First, a little correction that I wasn't the first elected female president. There's my colleague Nora Njuba, who was the first in 87, but perhaps ours was a very competitive election in 97. Everybody recalls that.
You're the most talked about.
Yes.
Okay. What do you make of the 100 years?
Of course, for me as a former student leader and a student of a university of the caliber of Makerere, one of the oldest in Africa, that shaped me and shaped so many countless alumni. This is with great pleasure to join this celebration.
Okay. What do you take from the president's message, where he thinks those of us in the social sciences, our area, needs to do more work in the uplift of our society, Uganda and the world in general?
I appreciate where he's coming from. I was a science student. I read physics, chemistry, and mathematics.
Not with bias?
Physics, chemistry, and mathematics.
So do you appreciate him without bias?
Now, of course, when I was applying here, I applied pharmacy, engineering, but I'm now in PR. So I understand, for a long time, he used to pick a blackboard and chalk. Back then, when we were in senior 2, we are taken to Lugogo, and he's teaching teacher-student ratio, doctor-population ratio. So I understand, as a scientist, where he comes from, scientist turned artist now, that he would like to see us solve issues. But of course the art has made incredible contribution. So we could have a melange, a mixture of, for example now, we at the Private Sector Foundation are pushing for penetration into markets of the region. I think that is a good way to use art. Then the scientists, say a food scientist, technologist, can be of great use to say adding value to the products, increasing their shelf lives. So all he's saying is let's get serious about solving Africa's problems.
Directing education towards solving problems in the society.
So he is not saying we must not teach arts again. Do the arts, but with a focus on resolving Africa's issues.
Let us look at leadership. Many of your colleagues have ended up in the political line. Did you survive that? Personally.
You see, leadership of a university such as Makerere catapults you into politics. So you recall that when I took charge here, I ensured that there was no strike. But also, I was a very active NRM student. Here, I say the movement has taken over. Older now, I appreciate that we all cannot agree all the time. So I'm tolerant to other political persuasions and I respect their opinions as long as a country we agree on what the scientists would call a lowest common multiple, a national agenda below which we must never fall.
How did you ensure you had no strike during your tenure? Because I was here myself, but that's what would make a vibrant guild president. Somebody who can lead people to saying no, to resist something, to have their voice heard in that direction. How did you ensure you had no strike under your tenure and you had a successful tenure?
One,
what I want from that? A message to other leaders, not only in Makerere, but elsewhere in the universities.
Of course, experience has taught me that you can engage. You recall that our time here was when there was, should Makerere University Business School move or should we have it here?
Yes.
We resisted the voice that was saying, no, we cannot have vibrant schools or faculties. For example, up to today, I look forward to, say, agriculture moving to Kabanyoro. You've seen what Professor Balunywa has done for the business school. So we engaged. We resisted many things, but by way of engaging the authorities. What we forget when we are students is that, of course, your colleagues will cheer you on. The moment you're dismissed and suspended, you're facing life alone. But also to appeal to the university, when you're punishing, don't punish to break. Do not punish to break. I never had a guild president to hand over to me. Galogifo had been dismissed for being cheered on and standing for students' issues. It could have been a suspension and then his return to complete his medical school. The science, he was dismissed. He never returned to the university. It pains me so much. He was a very brilliant student. So the authorities of the university could consider other ways. But of course, the students too, you have a duty to ensure you don't destroy property. Besides, you're not going to be a student permanently. Yes. There is a workplace looking. There are people looking up to you. You get out of here and everybody's knowing you for violence and nobody would ever recruit you. It follow you forever. Yes.
So what would be your message to the young people in this country if we have a great university here? Actually, before I even go to that, it's now not only Makerere, there are over 50 in the country. Where do you see Uganda with the education sector that has institutions that are coming up? I think Makerere is the one that has given birth to all these institutions because you realize that the professors there were trained Makerere. So where do you see the education sector that has a mother university that has given birth to all these many? I want to get Professor Duma Sedamu, just give me that.
Of course, the population is growing. When I was here, we had only Makerere University. I mean, it's a great thing to expand, but expand qualitatively.
Thank you so much. We want to say hi to Professor Sentamu here. Professor UBC would love to talk to you. Just say hi as we celebrate We Alive. Yes. What do you make of the 100 years?
It has been a good occasion and it's been successful. So I wish Makerere prosperous another 100 years to come. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. That is one of the former vice chancellors of the great institutions that is celebrating 100 years today. I have another alumni here. Okay. Yes. Somebody was telling me that many of us get to learn that chorus, only the chorus, on graduation day here in the tent.
We used to teach our students. I was a guild.
Can you sing stanza number 2?
Oh yes, but not for this interview.
Okay. What do you make of the 100 years of this great institution that has produced many of us for the good of this country?
We are excited. We are excited with what Makerere is doing, and we believe that having celebrated 100 years, the milestone will be shifted and are yet to achieve more. Over the years, of course, Makerere has produced quite a number of leaders, as you've heard in the speeches, and we pride ourselves that we can easily associate with the university. The university made some of us what we are, and we are very grateful for what the university has been in East Africa and in Africa as a whole.
I was talking to one of the former guild presidents here, and we talked about Makerere being the mother or grandmother, actually, of all the new over 100 universities that are coming up in the country. Because you'll realize that all the professors there were trained here. What does that mean for the education sector that we are building as a country? Looking at what the president, the direction the president admires of an education sector that solves problems.
It means we are widening and deepening knowledge. That all sub-regions now have public universities. Courses have been expanded. Faculties, departments, schools have been expanded. Professors have increased. Researchers have increased. It means we're expanding knowledge. It's part of the NDP3 framework, as the Chancellor of the university said. So we are excited with what Makerere is doing, and the Minister of Education especially, and the government of NRM, that we are expanding knowledge to the very poor to access education.
You are an alumni here. Yes. You have been in government. You are leading the power, the party in power, you lead its technical wing. What do you think is lacking in as far as keeping Makerere's image is concerned?
I think one of the speakers mentioned that the alumni should pick interest in coming back home, coming back to Makerere, and form an alumni association where through such association we can harness knowledge that could have been acquired within and outside the university. I'm sure there are quite a number of alumni who are very, very, very well placed, who can give back to the university and can share their experiences in the field with the body of the university students and other members of the university. A university like this does not only have students and teachers. It has support staffs. It has quite a number of members that associate with them. It has suppliers, support staffs, it has well-wishers, it has neighbors. So it is a big organization, and then the university represents all these individuals that associate with the university. So
how about in its day-to-day running? What do you think is still a gap that has to be touched?
I think I am happy and impressed that we've learned that they are gearing more towards a research-based institution. Research is something that the university should lean on, because it's through research that a university can be more pronounced. And the more they carry on research aspect, the more the university's name will be upheld, and the more it will be associated with the changes that we see, the socio-economic transformation that the president has been talking about. It's through research.
We are 100 years, but 934th in the whole world. What does that mean to you?
We are excited. We believe we are going to celebrate more 100 years to come.
Yes, but can't we perform better and be at least 10th in the whole world?
And that is why we are talking about research. Universities are ranked by research, the publications you make, research, and then that is how universities are ranked. So we are excited that Makerere is focusing at research, and we believe by that, with more funding, the ranking will improve through research.
Okay.
Yeah.
We thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is the Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement, the Honorable Richard Todong. My name is Michael Jordan Dokoma. I've been part of the very big team of UBC TV that has enabled you watch this event live here at Makerere University. Yes, just a brief more info about Makerere University. The university has a number of schools. As we wind up, there is agriculture, computing and information technology, arts, economics and management, forestry and nature, law, the School of Law, science, social sciences, technology, and veterinary medicine. And these are the schools that make the great university, Makerere University. Thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you here at Makerere University at the Freedom Square, where we held the celebration to mark 100 years of the university. I miss Professor Luwobi, one of the former vice chancellors. He has just passed here. I noticed when he had already moved a number of meters. Myself, I'm a proud alumni of this great university. That's why I am happy to have been part of the celebrations. I had the victim here, producers, cameramen, led by Miss Sophia Matovu, and another team at Broadcast House in Kampala. Thank you so much for watching. Let me hand you back to studios. Bye-bye.